A lot of people will install Google Analytics in their blog and think that they're measuring all their traffic, but they're actually only measuring a portion of the traffic. Let me show you why. So here I am again back in this blog post that we wrote, and I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to view the blog. Now, one of the reasons that blogs are such a big deal is because blogs come by default with a real simple syndication feed or an RSS feed. Now, if you're using a current browser, if you updated to the latest version of Firefox or Chrome before you started the class, then in this URL field up here on the right hand side, you'll get this little icon here, and if you hover over it, it'll say subscribe to this blog. This is an RSS feed, and it comes by default standard with pretty much every blog. So I'm going to click on it, and these are the options. I can subscribe to the Atom feed. I can subscribe to the Atom as Live Bookmark and Delicious, and I can subscribe to the Social Media Bootcamp blog RSS. This is the one I'm going to click. This is just the raw feed here. So I click on it. Because I'm using a current browser, it parses the blog post and sets it up like this for me. If you're using an older browser, you might even just see a bunch of code here and think, oh my God, it's not working. It's just that you don't have a current browser. For some reason, your browser is not reading the RSS and making it look nice for you. You're just seeing the raw code. But either way, it doesn't matter, because all you need to be able to measure who's subscribing to your blog via RSS is the URL of the blog feed. So I'm just going to copy this. Now, we haven't covered subscribing to blogs. That's covered in the next course. If you're taking this as part of the Social Media Bootcamp, then the next course is Social Media Monitoring, and in that course we cover subscribing to blog feeds. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the URL of the feed for this blog, and I'm going to go over to a new tab, and I'm going to search FeedBurner. And FeedBurner is another service of, you guessed it, Google. And I'm going to go to FeedBurner. And the first time you go, you'll have to log in. And again, you can use your Gmail email address and password. It'll take you in here. As you can see, I've already got a few feeds set up. You won't, but you will have this field right here that says burn a feed right this instant. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the URL of my feed up. Let me go get it again because I overwrote my clipboard. So let's go back to my blog. And again, I'll copy this URL of this feed. Let me just show you where this is again in case you missed that. So I'm on my blog. I go to the little RSS icon up here. I click on it. And I'm going to take the one that says just plain RSS, not the Atom feed. And it takes me there. And then again, I'm just going to copy the feed, go over to FeedBurner, and I'll paste the feed in here. Right? So I pasted the RSS feed of my blog into this field here where it says burn a feed right this instant. And then to the right of that is a button that says Next. So I'll hit that. It says, welcome, let us burn a feed for you. So what it's going to do is it's going to redirect my RSS feed to this FeedBurner feed. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that next. And this is my FeedBurner feed. So if I copy this, if we go there, let's go here. You see it took my blog feed and it changed it over to a FeedBurner feed. It's the same information coming through, but it's reformatted for a FeedBurner feed. Now, if I grab the URL of the FeedBurner feed and copy it, and go back over to my blog, I can redirect this URL to that FeedBurner feed, and then if anyone subscribes to my feed and consumes my content off page in a feed reader, I'll be able to go into FeedBurner and see the size of my audience and who's reading my content off page. HTML measurement, Google Analytics, is only going to show me who's actually going to my blog and consuming my content there. But if they're subscribing to the RSS, I won't be able to measure that through Google Analytics. So here's how I set up FeedBurner to be able to measure who's subscribed to my feed. Again, up to Design, down here to Settings on the bottom, and down to Other again. And it says Post Feed Redirect URL. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to add the FeedBurner feed in here. There it is. And I'll save the settings. Here, you can actually set the amount of content that is pushed through on your RSS feed. If you subscribe to any newspaper RSS feeds, you'll notice that they only give you the beginning of the story. Because if you read the story entirely off of their website, you don't get the ads. So what they'll do is they'll just give you until the jump, meaning until the more, or a short initial, the first few, I'm not sure exactly how many words this is, but probably the first 250 characters with spaces. That would be this, short, just the beginning. But I'll go ahead and serve the full blog post in the feed, and I'll save those settings. And let's view the blog. So now, if someone goes to the blog and wants to subscribe, meaning they're going to consume my blog posts off page, now you can see the URL has been redirected to the FeedBurner feed here. And now, if people subscribe to the FeedBurner feed, you'll be able to count those subscriptions. And also, FeedBurner offers a lot of other interesting features. So let's go in. There's no subscribers yet, so I can't see how many people are subscribing or what individual blog posts they're paying the most attention to. But I'd like to show you a really important feature, and it's here under Publicize. So go ahead and click on Publicize. Now, subscribing to RSS is something that's very popular amongst journalists and knowledge workers, researchers, influencers. However, it's not that popular amongst most people. So it's a good idea to put a subscribe via email option on your blog. And now that you've got FeedBurner measuring your RSS, they actually offer a widget to be able to offer email subscriptions automatically, so that each time you publish a new blog post, anyone who enters their email address will get an email with that blog post in the body of the email and a link back to the blog. And you do it by just clicking here on Email Subscriptions. And I'm going to activate the feature. Once I do that, there's a little code here. This code is for TypeBed, but we're using a Blogger blog, so let's switch on over to Blogger and hit go. And it recognizes our Blogger blog, so we'll add the widget and we'll save. And now let's view the blog. So now we've got this little enter an email, right? Someone can put in their email address. Oh, that's not a real email, so they won't take that. But if it was, it would automatically be entered, and you wouldn't have to do anything. As long as you publish a blog post, it'll automatically be emailed to whoever puts their email address in there. So that's how you install FeedBurner and take advantage of one of the features in FeedBurner to publicize your blog.